Nioh 2 has excellent gameplay, a good enough story and great bosses. But I'm going to be honest with you guys, I really don't like Nioh 2 as a game. Not going to give a whole review, this is a boss ranking after all, and this game's bosses are mostly very good. But you might see tidbits of my rant during the video, so bear with it. Anyways, Kilroy is here to rank Nioh 2 bosses, and the bosses will be ranked by gameplay, not difficulty, engaging lore and design. Let's get started. Number 35, White Tiger. All of the reused bosses are at the bottom of the barrel. My opinion on the stupid cat is not good, and Team Ninja decided to add an equally annoying, if not more, goat spirit to the game. If Hakutaku was the one who absorbed the spirit instead of the cat, perhaps this encounter would have landed higher. But no, this boss is completely identical, just adjusted to the new game mechanics, i.e. burst counters and the Dark Realm. Number 34, Saika Magoichi. I had high opinions on this guy in the first ranking video. You should go check that out. And I still do. But again, it is a reused boss. But props to them, they got the rifle and sword combination quite perfect this time. Also, if you are wondering what the flame counter is supposed to mean, well, we're going to count how many bosses in this game use fire elemental. Fire damage is very annoying, but it was still mostly tolerable in the first game. But here, where in the Dark Realm, I have to conserve my stamina to make me forcefully extinguish the fire by rolling in many boss fights. It's hell agitating. Number 33, Otakemaru. No, not the final boss of the base game. He's not as low as Yamato no Orochi, but reusing the guy you fight as the final boss in the base game. Really. What could have been done is fighting his human form, making the player go back in time before the massacre. But that is the same fight, but somehow a younger Otakemaru is even stronger. Number 32, Tokichiro. The yokai one. Tokichiro as the villain really fell off after he became yokai-fied. Generic design, not that much of a change in gameplay, and does what an Everett Stone Peddler turned probable ultimate ruler of a united Japan does. And quite clichély, he goes back to his original good side. Number 31, Lady Osakabe. Finally, unique boss. What do you mean by you have seen a fight with multiple serpentine limbs on a rooftop before? Don't know what you're talking about. But we had Teapot Fetish in the first game. So the sequel of course had to up it. Since the Jorogumo fight takes place in a burning castle, the writers at Team Ninja decided to waifu up the whole castle. Man, Tokichiro, did you develop this peculiar fetish? Not judging. After turning into a demon, or has you always been like that before? Also, this castle is a furry castle. Okay. Number 30, Tatarimokke. Look, I'll give credit where it's due. At least this boss fight is not annoying because it always stays afloat. I'm looking at you, Dark Souls 2 Dragons. Although the fight is still quite annoying and simply plain, other than the eye stuff. And this is just a giant owl. Number 39, Daidara Bocchi. The Rock. Oh, quite literally. This fight is passable as a puzzle fight. Heck, I would even say this fight is quite okay. Nioh 2 doesn't have bad bosses, even Tatarimokke and the replicas are alright. Plus, this is not an exact replica of the Gasha Dokuro fight either. It's indeed simply alright. Number 28, Gyuki. Saint J. Garcia Saturn over here. Oh wait, he's not been adapted yet. Sorry. This guy is a complete 1:1 from the folk tales. This fight with an ox-spider hybrid suffers from your usual giant beastie boss fight problems, and it doesn't help that you put those shiny stones on his little legs to allure us. Number 27, Nightmare Bringer. Jesus, what a fucking bad name. You fight Otakemaru, let's see, Saito Yoshitatsu, Azai Nagamasa, Tokichiro twice, Kashin Koji technically twice, and Otakemaru thrice. That's 9 times. You fight Otakemaru 9 times and his actual body 3 times, and the final design is just to me. The fight doesn't provide that many new things either. And we're going to talk about another minor problem in Nioh 2. Colors. Why are most bosses this grayed out monochromatic color? And the Dark Realm. How do I say this without sounding dumb? The Dark Realm is too dark. I do not mind the mechanics at all, but I can see shit, and I don't think that is supposed to be part of the experience. You did all the lighting stuff. Now, I'm no game developer, but you just could have tweaked the color in the lighting a bit. Number 26, Mezuki. The great tutorial boss. I do not appreciate the random Gezuki roaming the fields in the first mission though. Mezuki's every single aspect is simply okay. It's just okay, it rightfully belongs in the middle of the pack. The bottom of the list is all yokai, huh? No worries, there are more to come. But the first one in this list is also a yokai. Can you guess who it is? Number 25, Tsuchigumo. Too much going on with the design. And at the same time, it's too bland. Like, how did this combination happen? And do not fucking wave me, dude. Who do you think you are, Jorogumo? Number 24, Yatsu-no-Kami. A so-called god, a unique approach I must say with the snake hands. It could have been higher in the list, but the poison pools ruined the fight a little. I know they can be removed, but I do not want to explore another maze. You may not have known this, but there is another hidden Yatsu-no-Kami fight in the game. Instead of snakes for hands, this guy has subscribe buttons as his hands. If you do not want to get ganked in the second phase, you know what to do. Hit the subscribe button and ring the bell to get notified whenever I do a Souls-like or any other gaming video. I'm very close to 100 subscribers, and with your help, we can achieve this even in this week. And a huge thanks to those already subscribed. The subscriptions and the comments really do keep me going. Number 23, Enenra. Some might like the idea that a creature who is smoky by nature prefers a hulking appearance, but I do not. As with all rankings, this is my opinion, so take it with a grain of salt. But a smoke creature boss design could have been so unique. Although the physics department might have had a hard time. As for the fight itself, it is extremely well balanced. Might be tough for beginners, but Enenra provides the steady learning curve. Number 22, Kamaitachi. The Japanese really like the elongated cattle, huh? Please do not copy strike me, Nintendo. Kamaitachi also suffers from the coloring issue, but the lore and fight itself are alright. Although it sucks that it gets turned violent again after the fight. Number 21, William. Fan service. This fight is nothing else. Yeah, it got me excited, but I still have to be unbiased. Although the decision to give William a spear doesn't seem just right to me. I do not think any other option could have fitted perfectly either, but dual swords should have done the job better than a spear. And in the end, William is just a basic human fight, and the fight gets interrupted, so in the bottom half he goes. Number 20, Maeda Toshiie. They nailed the character design, although his story could have been done better, specifically more tragic. But another problem with Nioh 2, the human enemies. Yeah, they are way weaker, but still, do not make them do attacks while their stamina is 0. This problem comes over from the prequel, so they simply didn't fix it. Number 19, Ashiya Doman. Looks a little bit too homeless, and spams the lightning laser way too much. A better Onmyo fight is with Tenkai's retainer Saito Toshimitsu, but although he adds a sword to the fight, so it's gonna be better, obviously. Also, you can think of Ashiya Doman and Abe no Seimei as the Geto and Gojo of Nioh-verse. Not even joking with this. These two rivalries are so similar, it's actually quite eye-catching. Number 18. Hachisuka Kuroko. Kuroko. I never get this guy's name right. Another shifting fight was eventual after the twin fight, and they did not pull logic out of their ass to make us fight Hachisuka. The Kusarigama is annoying as expected though. Number 17. Imagawa Yoshimoto. Peculiar choice of eyebrows there, my guy, but I gotta give his makeup credit, man. It does leave an impression. There's also the fun build-up to his arena, but what holds him down is simply the human. Number 16. Kasha. Shall not be blinded by those and remain unbiased. Plus, another fire boss, I'm not even counting in the script honestly, I'll do it in editing. But while the better fire bosses is Kasha, funny thing is, in his directory it is said to be a cat, not a cat lady. But who am I to question the choices? Halfway there, so instead of letting you rest, let me rant a little. The problems I have stated before are minor. They do impact the experience, but they do not ruin the game as a whole. But for me, and let me say this, in no game I have faced this, that a single aspect of a game ruins my enjoyment by this much. The level design. It is so horrendous. I'm not against reusing the assets, but Jesus Christ, man. Not does every map look similar, but the inside of that map also looks the same. The maps are a burning castle, another burning castle, yet another burning castle, and occasionally some caves and hills. But even then, I do not have that much issue. The main problem is that everything in the same map looks the fucking same, creating an even more complex maze to the one already the developers have designed as the level. Making complex mazes in a game where loot is random is straight up dumb. Most of the times playing this game I would sit excitedly to fight the boss, but that excitement was usually flushed out by the frustration of traversing the levels. Otherwise, this game is fun, man. The enemies are fun, the bosses are fun, even the story is fun. But now imagine traversing a maze of a map while these two constantly talk like shut the up. Number 15. Shibata Katsuie. I think this guy is hailed as one of the tougher bosses in the community. I see it, but the only thing that makes it tough for me is the homing charge, even after he bashes into a wall. He has quite a tragic story, which I like, of course. Not as sadist, by the way. But what holds him down for me is his bland design. It is appropriate though, but it's still kinda meh. Number 14. Azai Nagamasa. From Oichi's one husband to another one. So Tokichiro fancied Oichi, but he was just a lowly peddler and she was Nobunaga's sister. And since Tokichiro's actions ultimately killed Oichi, he decided to marry Oichi's daughter, whose father is Nagamasa. Beast and the Furry Castle, very interesting choices, Tokichiro. Anyways, half-birding Nagamasa was a good decision and he has colors. Number 13. Saito Yoshitatsu. This really was not a twist I was expecting. Of course, there would be a sibling, but not a twin. Also, props to Saito Dosan. I always respect people who back someone who has lived for hundreds of years. The quality of the fight itself can vary, as Yoshitatsu's guardian spirits are the ones you did not choose. Number 12. Tokichiro. The human fight? For multiple instances of a boss like this and Otakemaru, and I counted the lore up to the point of the fight. Thus, the human Tokichiro story is simply excellent. A true rags to riches story, and it is done quite right. The betrayal, can't even say that, because Tokichiro's ambition was always to go to the top. Anyways, this was not expected in the way that I thought. because I thought our character player was gonna be the actual Hideyoshi, then somehow killed, maybe in a stalemate with Otakemaru, or to seal him or something. But nah, they handled it pretty well. Tokichiro's design is simply perfect. His demonic form, as I've said in contrast, is garbage. And the fight is above average for a human one. Number 11. Uminyudo. This is how you do Umibusu justice, both fight and design wise. And thank God you don't have to halve down his health to get the proper boss fight, although he should not have been allowed to go back into the water. So this guy is actually the Daira leader who got sick during the war and turned into this at his own volition. This boss is well armed in every aspect. Number 10. Minamoto no Yorimitsu, or Lady Raiko if you prefer. You would also know Minamoto no Yorimitsu as a lady if you are a Fate fan. Well, it was eventual that we would fight someone who can utilize soul cores like us, but Mezuki and Gozuki, really. I guess there are no other logical boss choices, but also her story with Abe no Seimei, Josan and Shuten Doji is nice. And by nice I mean tragic, of course. Also Abe no Seimei and Raiko. Number 9. Ryomen Sukuna. Ryomen Sukuna, more often referred to as simply Sukuna, is the strongest Jujutsu sorcerer from 1,000 years ago, regarded as the undisputed king of curses. Wait, and that's the wrong one. Nioh's take on Sukuna is more traditional and well crafted. The gimmick to this boss fight is also fun, but water and fire. Pick something else for Christ's sake. Sukuna would have been further into this, but I absolutely do not like the fact that this is not the original Sukuna. It is Saito Toshimitsu. Two of a legendary figure are just ruining it. You could say Toshimitsu is just a host for Sukuna, which should have been the case, but it is explicitly stated that this Sukuna is born from Toshimitsu. Number 8. Tate Eboshi. Would. I would fight her again. This forest part of the map always gets my FPS a little janky, even though my PC is quite alright. Again, mirroring a fighting aspect of the player character is always fun. That's a lady, go a little slow with that consumption, huh? As one of the endgame fights, it can be quite difficult, but it is an endgame fight, what do you expect? And that makes it more fun. Number 7. Otakemaru. Oh, the final boss is in the top 10. And he deserves it. Very good fight, but his sanctity is ruined by the 2 copies in the DLC. His overarching presence is throughout the whole game, through Kashin Koji, and we are going to talk about him in a bit. And as a result, fighting him is very epic and satisfactory. But again, the colors, man. His design itself needs colors, but the darkness in the Dark Realm really harms the enjoyment here. Number 6. Magara Naotaka. Where is Honda Tadakatsu, you ask? Well, he is not in a main mission, so I'm not including, nor am I fighting him again. Anyways, Magara Naotaka has a really cool design. Please don't leave, but he really does. Well placed in the story, has a good enough cause to be turned yokai, and has a balanced fight for this part of the game. And does not use fire. Number 5. Benkei. Name the Mysterious Monk Warrior as we fight him, or it, because it is just a pot. A very friendly and respected enchanted pot. The only downside to this otherwise amazing boss is its arena. It's a bit small. Number 4. Kashin Koji. Kashin Koji could have been number 1 in this list if he was toned down. Yeah, the opposite of what usually should be done. If he was just a monk or a supporter of Otakemaru, the character of Kashin Koji would have worked 1,000 times better. Because Otakemaru doesn't strike me to be the guy who would take possessions of humans because he absolutely hated them, nor to be the guy who would do such complex stuff to get his body back, and lastly, he absolutely does not strike me to be the guy who would kill his own sister, regardless of giving birth to a human yokai hybrid. Kashin Koji's design also screams second in command in a good way. Always felt that he was not gonna be the final fight. So well done. And his fight, especially the refuse to die parts, and it just sent chills. Number 3. Shuten Doji. From some discussions in forums, many people seem to want to do stuff with him or let Doji do stuff with them, but I just want his hair routine. You see just how much a little bit of color can do to a boss, and his fight is very fun. And do be careful when trying to cut him while he's lying drunk. He's going to give you a very sharp wake-up slap. Number 2. Minamoto no Yoshitsune. Now this is what I call a fair but challenging endeavor, and it is always desirable to see a nice guy, not the self-proclaimed ones, an actual nice guy turned bad. Again, I'm not a sadist, but come on, his transformation is epic. Number 1. Lightning Gods of Yomi. This is what I fucking love about Japanese games. Out of nowhere, you are fighting a literal god. No, make that 8 gods. Also, the vagueness of this boss is just chef's kiss for souls like. Shit man, I genuinely got scared when Doman summoned this out of fucking nowhere. There are no hints given at all, and it was the perfect decision to do so. The design is so detailed and good, and the fight may seem very unfair at first, but the lightning attacks give huge cues. So, also, even if it is stated that the lightning this woman, I do not know, because this is like the rotting cause of Izanami, which got severed and the limbs each became a god and goddess or something. Anyways, it is stated that her lightning does fire damage, but this is not seen in the fight. I would deduct points for inconsistency usually, but I'm not doing that here. You go, girl. That is it for the new 2 bosses. Do you agree with my list? No one would completely agree, of course, but do let me know which boss do you think is the best overall in the game. Thanks for watching. Do drop a like if you enjoyed it, and let me know down below what type of content you wish to see in ranking videos. I'm actually going to stick with ranking stuff because I looked up in YouTube and saw that there are lots of ranking videos, yes, but they all cater to specific criteria, usually not an overall ranking. For someone like me who enjoys every aspect of a game, prefers an overall ranking of bosses and such. So yes, to keep getting my ranking videos, subscribe and hit the bell. Again, thanks for watching and goodbye.